Hello, this is Brent from Mindful Music Therapies, and today we're going to be looking at Linkin Park. Linkin Park's a classic, right? They've got some really great music, and we're going to look at one of the songs called Numb. Uh, I'd imagine most of you have probably heard it. They definitely sunk their way into pop culture, and I love it. Uh, so, my name is Brent. I'm a board certified music therapist, uh, and just a big lover of music in general. So, I think we're just going to get right into the song this time. Sound good? Alright, let's do this. And here we go.
Tired of being what you want me to be, feeling so faithless, lost under the surface. Don't know what you're expecting of me, put under the pressure of walking in your shoes. Every step that I take is another mistake to you. I've become so numb, I can't feel you there. Become so tired, so much more aware. I'm becoming this. All I want you to do is be more like me and be less like you. Can't you see that you're smothering me? Holding too tightly, afraid to lose control. 'Cause everything that you thought I would be has fallen apart right in front of you. Every step that I take is another mistake to you. And every second I waste is more than I can take. I've become so numb, I can't feel you there. Become so tired, so much more aware. I'm becoming this. All I want you to do is be more like me and be less like you. And I know I may end up failing too, but I know you were just like me, with someone disappointed in you. I've become so numb, I can't feel you there. Become so tired, so much more aware. I'm becoming this. All I want you to do is be more like me and be less like you. I've become so numb, I can't feel you there. Tired of being what you want me to be. I've become so numb, I can't feel you there. Tired of being what you want me to be.
Oh, it's such a good song. And I think there's a lot to talk about with this one, too. So, feeling numb, a lot of times people relate to possibly depression, right? Feeling depressed, feeling like nothing, right? Sounds like there might be a semi driving by outside. I don't know if you hear it or not. Uh, However, in this case, it sounds like what he's talking about in terms of feeling numb is not necessarily emotionally numb, but rather in terms of his own identity, right? which is tough. He's talking about following in someone else's shoes, trying to live up to their expectations, and their expectations sound to be very high and maybe very specific. Whether it's a friend, whether it's a spouse, or significant other, maybe it's a parent, even a child. Uh, he's been kind of living in their shadow and trying to live up to their expectations, and now he's saying, no, I'm gonna do what I want to do. And I can't remember the line it was. It was something along so if I feel so tired but more aware or something like that, which I think is very fascinating. So sometimes we might reach our breaking point. We may reach a point where we actually start to understand things a little bit more. This can happen in possibly in an abusive relationship where, if someone's been very manipulative and kind of controlling you, you get to the point where something just kind of clicks, and you kind of let yourself know, like, hey, this isn't right. This isn't what I should be doing. This isn't what, well, more specifically, this isn't what they should be doing, and this isn't what I should be putting up with. Building your own identity is tough. It really is. However, having that support is so important. And in here, he talks about, you're just like me, having someone with all these expectations for you. Those aren't the exact lyrics, but, kind of talking about that cycle. This is what you do because you learned it from the people before you. And I'm afraid of doing the same and learning it from you, so I'm going to do my own thing. And this kind of relates me to, there are these things called the ACE scores, ACE, it's Adverse Childhood Experiences, that I believe were really starting to be looked at in the late 90s, probably, mid to late 90s. And what it does is kind of score trauma throughout someone's childhood, and they can use that to see how it relates to current issues they're having, whether it's health related or whether it's mental health related. This was specifically, I think, used in terms of the health field when, mental health wasn't a topic if you were going to go get a physical or, to see your primary care physician. They didn't really think about, or, it wasn't really a talking point at that time to recognize that your trauma affects everything in your future, whether that's your physical health, whether that's your mental health, whether that's it suggests that those childhood traumas can lead to a higher chance of obesity, for example, or higher chance of heart disease. And looking at these ACE scores allowed us to really put a focus on treating the family as a whole, as opposed to just treating the child or the specific client, because a lot of times the parents need as much professional support as the children do. And if the parents aren't able to battle those demons and to overcome and work through some of the trauma that they've experienced, then it's going to be really tough for them to be able to provide what they need for their children. It's not to say it's not possible. There are so many wonderful people and wonderful parents out there that had a lot of trauma in their background. However, it helps. It helps to have a professional to talk to help you work through that. And, life is always a journey of trying to better yourself, and, better today than yesterday, better tomorrow than today, right? So it's really something to think about. And that's why, if ever it's a possibility while I'm working with kids, to work with families as well, which in my current job, I do work with the kids and their families. And, thankfully a lot of the families are very open and willing to engage in treatment. Some aren't, and, that's okay. That's their choice. But when you look at a situation as the whole of what's going on, then I think a lot more good therapy and good work can really come through. I'm really curious on y'all's interpretation of the song, and maybe if this is a coping song for you. I know Linkin Park has a lot of songs that people use as a coping song, and I love that. Uh, they discuss a lot of really powerful topics, specifically surrounding mental health, and of course, unfortunately, their lead singer, did pass away. He took his own life a few years back, which is really tough and really difficult. And you know, I always recommend you call any crisis hotline you can find, call a friend, talk to a family member if you're ever having those thoughts, uh, and know that you're cared for, you're loved, and we really hope that you start to feel better if that's something that you're struggling with. The last thing I would want is for someone to feel as though not living is the only option they have left, because I promise it's not. I promise there are so many options, so many resources, so many people to talk to that may be able to help with what you need. And for me, my biggest coping skill for all of my life has been music. Writing music, listening to music, singing music, playing music. It's always helped me. If it helps you, I'm super glad. If you have other coping skills, maybe share those in the comment, right? Maybe you really love to draw, maybe you're an artist, right? Maybe figuring out math problems or figuring out physics, researching science, maybe that's really a good coping skill and you love learning, right? Maybe it's dancing. I mean, maybe it's writing, maybe it's journaling, maybe it's volunteering. Maybe that's what helps you cope. I'm really interested in what you guys use, and if there's anyone struggling with a lot of mental health issues, maybe there's something you could share with them or say to them with whatever you're comfortable with sharing, and hopefully we can help each other out here. I think the best support you can have is someone who cares and someone who understands. So, as always, I hope you all have a wonderful day, wonderful week, wonderful weekend, wonderful night, wherever you're at. I hope it's wonderful. And I'll see y'all in the next video. All right, thank you.